Welcome to my back to skiing workout. So these are a few of the exercises that I've been doing to get ready to hit the slopes this winter. One of the things I like to do to warm up is a side-to-side lunge, but in a little different fashion. I like to put a lot of rotation in it. So you want to turn all the way to the side, and you can let your feet spin as much or as little as you're comfortable. The more you spin for alignment, the better your knees are going to feel. So I like to spin and lunge in. So you're turning into your front hip. And then turn the other way and lunge in. So you end up with a lot of internal rotation into this front hip, so it's gonna really open the back of the hip, which is great for getting those glutes going. What you don't wanna do is as you rotate in, you don't wanna dump forward, okay? So what I wanna see here is down and straight, not dumping forward. So you don't wanna go into an anterior tilt as you come forward, all right? So come through, sit into that front glute, and rotate, don't dump, okay? So no dumping. All right, so give that a shot and see how that feels. The other thing you wanna make sure you don't do is you don't put a lot of forward movement on the rotation. So you're here and you kind of come straight down, almost a little back and turn without dumping, okay? And then back up, other side, turn, no dumping. All right, give that a shot, see if you like this. Next, you're gonna grab any amount of weight that you feel comfortable with, or you could do it without weights. But we're gonna do lunges, but I wanna do lunges with a wall press, just to give you something to push off of. And you can think about pushing off the ground too for these, but I find if you put your foot back on the wall, it makes it a little bit easier to sit into your front glute. Just gives you a little bit more stability, right? Another point of contact. So here, and you're gonna sit down into that front glute. And the reason I want you to hold with the opposite hand is because we get a lot more glute medius when we prevent our pelvis from dropping in. So if you let your pelvis drop, then you're gonna be letting that glute medius go. So what I want you to do is think about keeping your pelvis nice and level as you go down so that we get a lot more glute medius strengthening here. And the other thing that you can do if you want is drop in and then unwind, which is gonna be a lot more hip rotation. So if we do drop in, not forward, no anterior tilt, okay? So if we do drop in with that, so you're here, if you do rotate in, like we did with the side-to-side lunges, if you rotate in, then as you unwind, you're getting lots of rotation, which is gonna be great for those deep hip rotators, glute max. But if you want a little bit more glute medius, keep level, no rotation, hold that weight in the opposite hand, and you can go up and down working that glute medius, pushing against the wall. The other thing I want you to really keep in mind is sitting into your front glute. So you're gonna sit back into that front glute. You're gonna sit back into that front glute. So I want you to feel a lot of length here. If you want to, put your hand there, sit into that front glute. So you wanna almost feel like your femur is going back into your hand for that, okay? So that's gonna really help you sit into that back glute. Perfect, and you should get a quad burn. Obviously, whole point of lunges. So women are getting quads and glutes and really getting a lot out of these. Okay, now that you're all warmed up with lots of lunges, let's dive into some single leg squats. Okay, I'm gonna put the caveat on this is you gotta be strong to be able to do a single leg squat, okay? So if you don't feel like you can pull off a single leg squat well without it hurting your knee or your hips or getting a lot of hip flexor or IT band pain or kneecap pain, then hop into MomFit. I've got a progressive workout series and I can get you to the single leg squats. But if you feel good about it, here's one of my favorite exercises for getting ready for skiing. This is an assisted single leg squat. And I love it because it gives you a pinch of assistance at the end, but it's still killer hard. Okay, so I really like to hold the kettlebell in the opposite hand for that extra glute purpose. So you're gonna go down for a single leg squat. You want your knee to track over your middle toe. What we don't want is a lot of collapsing in of the knee. So you want that knee to track over that middle toe, and then you wanna go down as far as you feel comfortable, touch, come back up. So down as far as you feel comfortable, touch, come back up. So you're gonna give me a little bit of a forward lean with this, so we're really sitting into the glutes. Okay, so imagine you're skiing down those moguls and you've got that little bit of a forward lean, you're staying over those skis, you're going down, you can feel it, right? If you're a skier, you can feel that. All right, so down for that and touch, back up. I do not care if your knee goes over your toe, okay? So here, see I'm going down for my single leg lunge, touch, back up. I don't care, okay? Now, if you have knee pain, then stay keeping the knee back behind, the toes could be something that you could try to help with that knee pain, but it has to do more with where your effort's going. So if you have a lot of forward translation of the knee, that can cause pain. Not necessarily the act of the knee going over the toe, because if you've ever tried to walk down the stairs, your knees have to go over your toes. So this is just something the body normally does. Okay, so I love these single leg squats. Couple things here. We can turn this into a hip rotation exercise, which is gonna really get into those deep hip rotators. So if you have any piriformis pain, any obturator tightness, anything like that, you probably wanna avoid the rotation. So one thing I like to do is come down here, let the kettlebell touch at the same time as my foot, and come back up. So down, touch, back up. Down, touch, back up. And that's gonna come with a little bit of hip rotation. So I'm going into rotation and I'm coming out of rotation. Great exercise, but if you have that tendency toward tightness, you want to be a little bit careful. I wouldn't go quite so low, and I would keep more level hips there, okay? So give that a shot and see if you don't love those single leg squats, and maybe start without weight and just be careful so that you don't hurt yourself getting into them. So to keep up with my dad on the ski slope, one of the things I'm gonna need is fast twitch, as well as all the slow twitch muscle. So we just did a bunch of lunges and some single leg squats, but now I want to build some explosive absorptive power so that I can handle all the divots and turns that have to happen quickly and those absorptive forces, so those muscles aren't completely exhausted by the end of the ski day. Okay, who are we kidding? They're going to be completely exhausted by the end of the ski day, but at least I'm going to get a little headway on it, so I'm not too sore. All right, so what I want you to do is work on jumping and absorbing. So here, jump, absorb, step back. You're gonna land like a tiger, nice and quiet, so that you're not giving me a ton of noise when you land, so that we're absorbing all those forces. So keep it as quiet as you can. I like to step back for this instead of hopping backwards. So jump, land, quiet, step back. Okay, and so you can give those a try because they're really going to work those absorptive forces. You can also turn that into steps or box. So if you want to jump up on a step, if you have a step at home, jumping up on that first step, landing, absorbing forces. I just spend a lot of time skiing. I'm absorbing as I'm going down a steep incline. I'm not absorbing going uphill, which is why I like to do the jumps more on flat ground, working on slowing those absorptive forces versus jumping up on something with those absorptive forces. So anyway, give that a shot. Same thing here when you land. Make sure your knees don't buckle in. Obviously, that looks like that hurts, doesn't it, right? And when you ski, you don't want to look like that. We're not doing pizza wedges down the mountain, okay? So you don't want those knees to collapse in. So when you land for those absorptive forces, make sure you land with your knees going out over the middle of your middle toe, not collapsing in, so that that vector goes down to the inside of your big toe. I love speed skaters. I love them for agility, for movement, for building strength, absorptive forces. I've loved them since college, or maybe even high school. All right, so one little twist I like to put on speed skater. So what I mean by speed skater is you're gonna hop to the side, so you're gonna give a nice hop, you're gonna absorb, stick the landing, this foot's gonna come behind for balance. Now, the twist I like to put on it is literally a twist. I like to turn and reach, so I'm getting a lot of thoracic rotation to help counterbalance that hop. So you're gonna hop, land, twist. Hop, land, twist. So you're seeing how much rotational forces you can get. So you really reach for it, and I like to hold that landing. Stick, hold, stick, hold, stick, hold, so that you really own it. Because oftentimes you'll want to lose your balance and you want to rush back to the other side. But if you just stick the hold, rotate, stick, rotate, stick, rotate, stick, rotate, then you're really owning that landing. So my lower legs are always so sore after my first time back skiing. So one of the things I like to do to prepare is work some of these lower leg muscles. So I'm going to go down and hold a single leg squat. So for the single leg squat, I'm going to sit into my hip, so I'm getting glute length. Core is staying engaged. Knee can go over the toe wherever it's comfortable, so sit into that glute. So I'm sitting into the glute. I've got my nice single leg stance, and I'm going to squish my arch, and I'm going to roll to the outside. So So inside, outside, inside, outside. So I'm going back and forth. I'm flattening my arch, I'm engaging my arch. I'm flattening my arch, I'm engaging my arch. And what this is doing, you should start to feel some burn along your calf, along your posterior tibialis, maybe a little of that peroneus muscle. So you're really trying to get the lower leg to help you with the shifting. I don't want a lot of clenching in the glute. Okay, so I want this to come from the foot up, helping to control the motion. So in and out, you are gonna get some quad burn and a little bit of glute burn, but I just don't want all the motion to be coming from that hip for doing it. And you can usually feel this, I think, from the bottom up, using that foot and arch to press yourself to the outside. Lift yourself up, press to the outside, lift yourself up, so that we're getting good arch strength, we're getting good lower leg strength, and we're preparing that lower leg to get ready to handle all the navigating down those steep routes.